Hello, and welcome to yet another completely unprofessional unboxing. Scott here. And yeah, it's been a while since I've done one of these. It's summertime, and with summertime comes summertime activities. Been a bit busy running games, been a bit busy playing games, been doing things for the Titterpick podcast, yada, yada, yada. So I'm a bit backlogged on doing unboxings for several of the games that I have received over the past few weeks. But wanted to get to this particular one first and foremost because it's a bit special, and I'll explain why in the video. Now, this is not your traditional unboxing because, as you can tell, it's already out of the box. But this thing barely fits on the camera, so you can imagine the size of the box that it came in. So figure, what's the point? And since the RPG itself comes in a box, screw it. I think it qualifies for an unboxing. So my channel, my rules. Say la vie. So just a tiny bit of history before we get into this game. As for those who've been listening to the channel or watching the channel for a while now, may be aware that I'm not a big superhero RPG guy. Not that I don't enjoy superhero comics. I've been a big fan since a little child. Have read several different comic books over the years, Marvel, DC, and all the independent comics. I am a comic book fan. But for whatever reason, I have not found a comic book RPG that I feel captures what it is that I'm experiencing within the comic books. But not to say that I'm not open-minded. I have gone through a couple other games in the past, and they've been fun, but nothing that I particularly feel like following through with. But this comes highly recommended, spectaculars, as you can tell, from a good friend Lloyd. Lloyd, I consider to be an RPG connoisseur, and I really value his opinion on a lot of things. And he cannot say enough about how much he enjoys spectaculars. This particular game was available for 50% off, so it was a perfect time for me to grab this beast, because as you'll soon see, this is a giant box, and see what it provides. See if it might turn me towards finding a superhero role-playing game that I might enjoy. So without further ado, let's take a look what's inside. But first, I'm going to flip this giant heavy thing over and just read the introduction to you, which would be the same thing that you would be looking at if you were looking at this game in a friendly local game store. So, Spectaculars. It is a game of comic book heroism in a world you create. In Spectaculars, you and your friends take on the roles of comic book heroes, protecting the world from villains and other threats. Perfect. You create the heroes and villains, you define the features of the world, and you play through 4 included campaigns, each drawn from a different comic book genre. Oh, that's interesting. Face incredible foes in the super science-inspired Explorers of the Unknown series. Battle supernatural threats in the sorcery-inspired Eldritch Mystery series. Keep the streets free of organized crime in the Streetlight Knights series. Battle alien threats in the comic-inspired Clash Among the Stars series. When you open your copy of Spectaculars for the first time, you are standing at the heart of an entirely new comic book universe, one which will grow and change and become filled with memorable heroes, engaging villains, and stories of the clash between them. Best of all, you and your fellow players are the ones who create all those things. The game includes over 50 scenarios. Wow, okay. Well, I mean, it is a giant box, of which provides enough material to play for an evening. Each one of which provides enough material to play for an evening. As you play through the included scenarios, the game directs you to define the details of your world, tracking your decisions in the included setting book, and only creating the various parts of your setting at the moment that you need them. Best of all, Spectaculars is designed to let players change heroes from session to session and share the role of the narrator, who controls the villains and minor characters in the issue, all while playing in the same ongoing story in the same evolving, growing world. So, I mean, there you go. I mean, it really doesn't say anything that you wouldn't read in any other superhero role-playing game. Of course, they're going to want to draw you in. They want to engage with fans of superhero comic books. But a lot of them promise stuff like this, and some of them kind of provide it. Others really don't. But but still, it's enough to interest me and others who might be a fan of this particular genre. So, but the major difference between this and a role playing book is all the fiddly bits inside. There's a 60-page rule book, a 60-page setting book, 4 different 80-page scenario pads, but it also includes decks of cards, 85-card deck of powers, the 20-card basic power set, 85-card deck of identities, deck of complications, roll cards, initiative cards, progression sheets, 7 sets of percentile die, 4 advantage dice, 4 challenging dice, 6 plastic player trays, and tokens, and so on and so forth. So, a lot of things involved with that. Now, a lot of these moving parts might turn off quite a few people. I, for one, I don't mind all the extra features involved in something like this. Some people might say, well, what is this, a board game? I don't know, but we'll have to take a look at it and find out. But as one who enjoys games that utilize a variety of parts like this, miniatures, cards, props, things like that, I'm a big fan. So right away, I'm interested. What are all these things in this box that you're going to be utilizing to play spectaculars? So here we go. Ugh. So let's go ahead and slide it off. All right. So, as stated, there is a pad of character sheets. Set that aside. And here we are. Let's see, we have 1, 2, 3. Jeez. Okay. Yes, several. I'm not going to count them off. I'm just going to pull them out. So you got several trays here. The fact that it utilizes a variety of different cards. You have these organization trays that I imagine are very helpful for other things, tokens and whatnot within the game. So we are going to set those aside. What else comes in here? So let's see. I might slide this slightly over here so we can kind of focus on what's in here. Oh no, a little damage. Oh, nuts. Well, not the end of the world. All right, so we have Explorers in the Unknown. Explorers in the Unknown is a spectacular series themed around super science, exploration, and incredible threats of inhuman proportions. This series harkens back to the Silver Age stories of astronaut families, inventors, mad scientists, alien invasions, and artifacts of unknowable science and incredible power. All right, so this is going to be, this looks like this is, so looks like these little pads that is going to walk you through the scenarios, seem to be well organized. Don't really know what they mean yet because we haven't really looked into the game, but yeah, this is neat, nice and organized. Looks like they're meant to be torn off. So as you're playing through them, I mean there's nothing really holding them together, just a little glue up there. So I don't know if these are one-time playthroughs. I would imagine you can reprint these if necessary, but still, the fact that they come off easily, I don't know if that's an organizational nightmare or not for some, but whoops. And then next we have the Streetlight Knights. Is a spectacular series themed around street level heroes, organized crime, gang wars, and intrigue. So kind of like Batman type stuff. Sinister crime lords, vigilantes, assassins, secret societies, and so on. And next up we have Clash Among the Stars. Is a spectacular series themed around space exploration, cosmic powers, and struggles between the people of Earth and galaxy-spanning alien races that threaten it. So yeah, you've got your Guardians of the Galaxy type themed stuff, your cosmic themed aspects of like X-Men, and also and other things like within DCC and whatnot. So we're hitting all the right beats with the different genres here. And then Eldritch Mysteries is a spectacular series themed around sorcery, the occult, and supernatural threats from our world and other dimensions. Constantine, or Constantine if you're British, and other things such as that. Ghosts, demons, alternate dimensions, and magic wielding. So also like Doctor Strange and whatnot. So, right. And these are all several pages. So So yes, you're definitely going to get hit all the beats and the feels with with a variety of the core genres. Nice little set of dice here. We do have some custom dice in here, so custom dice do play within the game, but they look like they're custom D10s and D8s. A variety of tokens. And again, oops, there we go, it's starting to come out. We'll set that aside. But they do play a part within the game, according to the description on the back. All right, so we have the rule book here. Slide that aside a little bit. All right, so here's the variety of other components listed within here. All right, so the specialty dice are advantage dice and challenge dice. Several tokens, decks of cards. But, so how does the game play? Let's set the box here and just kind of take a look. I move out of the range of my microphone. Oh, yes, and by the way, I am not on the camera today. You are missing out on my gloriously handsome face, simply because the one forward-facing camera is having some USB issues, and I just don't feel like dealing with it right now. Okay, so we've got a description of what's in here. Getting started, if you're the hero, the opening scene, interludes, subsequent scenes, team reputations. Okay. So, all right. I'm just kind of seeing if there's something in here that just kind of gives you a general idea of, here we go, getting things done. That's kind of what I want to know about. So, move this aside a little bit. All right, so how do you get things done in Spectaculars? As play progresses, the narrator sets up a scene for the players by outlining the villain's schemes and complications involved. Then the players describe what they want to do in that scene. Many times the narrator simply agrees that what the players want to happen does, in fact, happen, and then the narrator reveals the consequences of the character's actions and how they affect the scene. Okay, so I'm getting a bit of a storyteller mechanic here. Sometimes, though, the outcome of the character's efforts is not certain, requiring the players to roll dice. Yes. When you want your character to take action within a scene, you tell the narrator what you want to do. The narrator then determines which of the three results is the most appropriate based on what you described. There's no chance that your character fails to accomplish the task or action, so you automatically succeed and move on. Your character might be able to succeed on the task or action, but there's also a chance of failure. The game's mechanics decide the outcome. There's no chance for your character to successfully accomplish the task or action, so you must choose another course of action. Okay? The most commonly used mechanic is the check. You make a check when you attempt a task that the narrator decides has a chance to fail. Your powers and the skills on your identity card have all the numerical ratings, ranging from 0 to 100%. This rating is called your chance of success, because the number tells you exactly how much of a chance you have to succeed, right? So if you have fire manipulation power in the lesser power slot with a rating of 70%, you know that when the narrator asks you for a roll, you have a 70% chance. Okay, percentile dice. Fair enough. The narrator can advise you which power or skill to use, although the choice is often obvious. All right, success and failure. The narrator determines what happens when you succeed or fail on a roll based on your description of what you're attempting. In general, there is no try again. If you roll and fail, you fail. Further attempts at the same task should be fruitless unless you invent a radically different approach to the same task. Once a roll has been failed, that usually means the task is beyond the character's skill. There are two exceptions to this rule. Attacks. Failing to attack someone successfully does not mean that it is beyond your attempt or beyond your ability, only that this attempt failed. And then at the narrator's discretion. Okay? So you also get to use your powers. When you take an action in a conflict scene, chances are you will use one of your powers. All your powers have a chance of success associated with them. You use your powers just like you do your skills by describing what you want to do and then rolling dice to see if you succeed. Okay? When you use your power, you come up with a creative description for what your hero is doing with that power and what the intended outcome is. This is where you get to flex your creative muscle, and you should try to come up with a description that is interesting, clever, and exciting and fits the scene at hand. Okay, moving on. So then we have time tokens. Mini powers have special benefits that you activate by placing one or more time tokens on the card. Okay, so your powers are organized by cards. Time tokens represent the time that must pass before you can attack with the power or use the card's power stunts. Time tokens represent many different things, abstracting various parts of the chaos of a superpowered battle. When you place time tokens on a card, you decide why your hero cannot use those benefits for a while. You might decide that it's because your hero needs to rest and recharge a moment, or simply that using the power again so soon would be tactically ineffective. And we got power stunts. Many power cards have power stunts listed on them. These are additional modifiers that you can apply to attacks and checks to make the power you make with the power changing their effect. They require you to place some time tokens on the card, and you cannot use power stunts if there are any time tokens on the card. Power stunts are described in more detail in the conflicts section. All right, so in this game, we have advantage dice and challenge dice. If the narrator determines that you have a positive circumstances working in your favor, you roll a number of advantage dice along with your percentile dice. Advantage dice are custom 8-sided dice. The narrator can choose to add up to a maximum of 4 advantage dice to your roll to express the circumstances in your favor. The more advantage dice you roll, the greater the chances of the elements in the scene turning in your favor. Advantage dice represent the fruits of the team's efforts to prepare for certain aspects of the mission. Similarly, when the narrator determines the negative circumstances are working against you, you have challenge dice. Custom 10-sided dice that are included with this game. You can choose to add up to a maximum of 4. The more challenge dice you roll, the greater the chances of elements in the scene going wrong. Okay? Advantage dice and challenge dice don't affect your chances of success. Instead, they represent the possibility of an unexpected positive and negative outcomes. Okay. Let's see here. Regardless of how many factors tell you to add a number of advantage dice or challenging dice, including the narrator's determination, you never roll more than 4. All right. So boons and drawbacks. So what do these mean? Let's see here. If at least one of your advantage dice comes up showing the boon symbol, you have a boon in addition to the outcome of your check or attack. A boon is a positive twist, an unexpected turn of events in your favor. If you roll a boon, an unexpected positive consequence results from your action, in addition to your success or failure at the attempt. The more common boons involve gaining additional information that can help your team on a mission or dealing extra damage to your enemy. And if at least one of your challenge dice comes up showing the drawback icon, you have a drawback in addition to the outcome of your check or attack. Drawback is a negative effect. Okay, it is possible to end up with both boons and drawbacks on the same roll, especially when you have advantage dice and challenge dice added to your roll from different sources. When this happens, each rolled boon cancels out a rolled drawback. Yes, fair enough. The narrator determines the outcome of the boons and drawbacks to your roll. Boons and drawbacks do not change the fact that you succeed or fail, but they do alter the way you succeeded or failed. Fair enough. Okay. And then we have something here for the narrator, when to grant advantage dice, and so on. Okay. And then you have something in the game called hero points. You aren't just a person with special powers, you're a hero. To represent your capacity for heroism, your character gains and uses hero points. Hero points are a resource you can spend to do exceptional things. Okay. Fair enough. After you roll a check or attack and would fail, you can spend any number of hero points. Okay, great. So it's a commodity. For each hero point you spend, you increase your chance of success on that roll by 10%. But you must add 1 challenge die to the roll. Ah, interesting. Okay. Perform a teamwork maneuver with another hero. That's fair enough. Use your team roll benefit. All right. So there's various aspects in the game, whether you're, as far as the superheroes are concerned, to get you the results you want, but there are sacrifices to be made. But, obviously you're superhero, so teamwork has its advantages. All right. So conflicts. So taking turns, turn order, distances and movements factor into it. We have the attacking aspect, power stunts, Resistance, hero death. I'm just curious about that. In general, heroes rarely die in combat. If a villain rolls any boons on the attack roll that reduce the hero to 0 resistance, the hero might die instead of being knocked out. The number of boons necessary to result in a hero's death is determined by your campaign's answer to the setting book question. How often do superheroes die in the line of duty? Okay, interesting. Rarely, if ever. If the villain rolls 4 boons on the attack that reduces a hero to 0 resistance, he dies. It happens every now and then, 3 boons, all the time, 2 boons. So you can make it as tragic as you want. Interesting. Cool. Objectives from the game. Interludes. Interlude scenes are great opportunities for your heroes to learn information. Okay. And you can boons and drawbacks and interludes. What can I get out of an interlude? Who is responsible for what happened in the opening scene? Is this an isolated incident or merely the first in a series of such events? Is there an obvious villain at work here? If so, what is the villain's goal? And so on. Very cool. After your first session, origin stories. Invent a brief origin story for your hero, explaining how they got their powers. Okay, so you do that after your first session. Aspirations and turmoil. Though costume heroes must stand above the crowd, instead they are people with... Though costume heroes may stand above the crowd, God, I can't read today. Inside, they are people with hopes, dreams, fears, anxieties, and doubts. The struggles represented in the game by the hero's aspirations and turmoil, which you describe after the first session in which you play the hero. An aspiration or turmoil is usually a short sentence. Let's see, examples of aspirations. I want to invent something that makes the world a better place. I want to marry my high school sweetheart, Martin Matthews. I want to be the first person from Earth to visit another star. And examples of turmoils are, I want to succeed in my profession, but nobody takes me seriously. I am in a love triangle with Commander Phantom and Ricochet. I question whether I belong in this world or should return to my home dimension. The story progress track. As you participate in the ongoing fight against villainy, the story evolves. To track this growth for your hero, each hero progress sheet includes a story progress track. And then lasting repercussions. Sometimes the event of an issue will cause you to gain a lasting repercussion. Each repercussion is a short phase that describes something impactful that happened to your hero. Interesting. Okay, so as you don't, you create your superhero, but you don't worry about the origin. You essentially seems like you start in media res, and then after you get through your first session, then you start dealing with the origin stories, aspirations, turmoils. There seems to be repercussions that will create conflict and inner turmoil for your player character as the story progresses each track, and so there is growth and development for your characters as they go through the scenario. Interesting. Continuity tokens. Like I said, I can't read today. After players have finished creating aspiration and turmoil interludes at the start of a session, okay, for each player that created such a scene, place 1 continuity token in reach of all players. At any time, any hero can choose to spend one of the continuity tokens. You can spend continuity tokens in 2 ways: to reference a back issue, like the theme here, or to introduce a retcon. When you use a continuity token, return it to the game box to indicate it has been spent. Right, okay, so we are kind of getting a bit of a, not necessarily, the subject matter of superhero comic books, but you're getting an actual comic book feel, because continuity and retconning stuff, is a part of, the comic book genre itself, and likewise superheroes. So it does. So you're playing a game, but you're also actually, it seems they're wanting you to create a living, breathing comic book itself. So you're not just the characters within the comic book, but you're emulating the creation of a physical comic book or superhero comic book. So that's kind of cool. Back issues and whatnot. So, and retcons. We won't go into too much description there. And story rewards. Quite a few here that you can get. General rewards, develop a new skill, inspiring presence, predictable powers, team up, true nemesis. revamp awards, changing identities, and so on, gaining award, setting rewards. So that's separate, but active nemesis, gain award, like your Dick Grayson and whatnot, retirement awards. So it looks like you may be retiring your superhero. I don't know if that would be within the story itself or at the end once you've resolved, something such as Eldritch Mysteries. Switching sides, nice. Brainwashed by an enemy, go rogue. All right, so yes, that's I like stuff like that. Origin awards. Variety of things like clone, a rift in time, inspired by another hero. Fourth wall breaking awards. Okay, so animated series, back to basics reboot, sponsorship deal. So we got a little Deadpool flavor going on there. And then assistance with creating your origin story. So seeds and what here, which is always helpful. And tables. I mean, they're set up as random tables, but I'm sure you can pick. But I am always a big fan of randomizing your character. Stuff here for the inspiration and advice for the narrator as we're going through it. And creating conflicts and scenes. And then we begin creating your own issue. So yeah, so you're done with these four that they give you. Creating your own comic book issue. And creating your own series. And optional rules, such as non-random character creation, using all the cards at once, big teams, big team-ups, snake initiative, how to do hero points and progression, and then we have a nice little index in the back. So that's the rule book. I mean, obviously I didn't read it in any depth, but I'm interested. This is something that seems to be different than some of the others that I've read. I mean, I am not a superhero RPG aficionado, so I really can't make a direct correlation with it. But it is enough here in the rule book to interest me to give a superhero RPG another go, because it does sound like a lot of fun, and a lot of the ways that they handle things within the game, and adding the flavor of, yes, you are superheroes, but you're also, there's the meta aspect of you are creating a series of issues of a particular comic book genre. So that's cool. That's a nice little added bit of flavor within it. So, but that's not all. There's more. All right, so we have the setting book that's included with it. So we get to figure this. This is in addition to everything. So these are the different sessions and whatnot. War-Torn Nations, Star Empire. There's obviously spoilers in here, so don't linger long. So an in-depth, and it's not on glossy paper. If you write in pencil, you can erase it and reuse this with no problem. So that's pretty much all of the setting book information here and whatnots. But I mean, it's organization. I mean, this the one thing that I like about this is it provides you, with useful materials to keep you organized. Which for me, I strive to be a more organized GM, but sometimes trying to do that on your own can be a bit difficult, and having things laid out that are designed specifically for the game to help you keep track of these events and the campaign and the players and everything are extremely helpful, rather than just writing in yet another moleskin notebook hoping to remember what you wrote from week to week or month to month, however long your session, your gaming group meets up. And then information on using the setting book. Right. Okay. So a couple more things here. I'm just going to bring this up. So another organizational tray, but along with the cards. So I'm not going to go into too many details with these, but I just may show a quick example of each one. Slide this over here. So this is the Powers deck. And of course, it's superheroes. most superpowers that you can think of have been done. So there's going to be plenty of emulation from a variety of different sources. So, for example, weather control, right? Okay, weather control is something that's been utilized, in comic books, maybe not quite from day one, but it is a standard. So, what do you get with this? You can will the weather to behave the way you wish, conjuring up or dismissing rain, hail, snow, lightning, and winds with ease. Your power stunts are make this use an area attack, and make this effect long lasting. Okay, so that's with the time tokens and whatnot. Okay, interesting. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a few doozies in here, but there's also going to be several familiar ones. Oh, okay, so we've got them mixed up a bit here. That was powers. So we have identities. So street performer. What is your chosen form of performance? Are you an avant-garde artist or someone that just looking to make a few bucks using their talent? Do you perform for fun or does it keep you from living on the streets? And then along with the skills associated with that. Right. Okay. So those are powers. Those are identities. Looks like we got more identity cards here. Oh, come on. Yep. Trusty Coleman camping steak knife. Almost never fails. Oh, wait. I can. Yeah. There you go, Scott. That higher education paid off. All right. So it's just more identities. Yes. Okay. So identities. Huge selection. I mean, the stack is. Yeah. So I mean, if everything's covered. And what do we have here? Complications. All right. Oh, I don't know why I'm doing that again. Habit. All right. Come on. There we are. All right. Here's an example of a complication. What do we have here? We have a sudden betrayal. An ally of the heroes in the scene suddenly turns against them for reasons of their own. Replace one ally initiative card with a minor villain initiative card as that ally turns against the heroes. Use the same statistics for that minor villain as they used when they were an ally, if possible. If they did not have statistics as an ally, treat the minor villain as having 100% resistance and making attacks that deal damage equal to the number rolled. The minor villain's chance of success on those attacks is determined by the number of drawbacks rolled. And then, all right, so we had powers, but now we have basic powers. Signature weapon. You have a weapon such as a card, axe, hammer, gun, bow, or shuriken that is a core part of your aesthetic and fighting style. Right? Okay. And it looks like we've got more basic rolls here. Powers, more powers. Okay. And are all these powers? Yes, all those are powers. Huge stack of powers there. And then finally, we have a stack called Team Rolls. Boom. Okay. And what are team rolls? So, example of one, tank. You get in the faces of your enemies and remind them that to ignore you is to initiate or to invite punishment. When you are near the character that is up close to you takes damage, you can spend any number of hero points, reducing the damage by 30 for each hero point you spend. Excellent. All right. So, these are tactician and support and so on. So, you've got your, I wouldn't really call it video game aesthetic, but, that's very familiar with things such as that. And then, so those are very small. And then we have initiative cards. So did not go into too many details. Interesting. Initiative ally, villain, minor villain. Okay. So I didn't really go into detail in the book about how initiative works, but I'm sure it's an interesting aspect as this whole game seems very interesting. And then you just have more organizational bins in the bottom of the box. So are. So that is Spectaculars. Let me just move these cards out of the way because I know if I knock them, they will spill over because they're quite a large amount of them. So yes, that is Spectaculars. Interesting. I am color me interested. It definitely is a different take. I do like, as mentioned, the kind of meta aspect of you are making a comic book, but obviously involved with the aspect of you are playing a group of superheroes. I really love the organizational aspects of it. The fact that it that pretty much everything is just there. All I think I really need for this is just a pencil. And there's trays here to help things keep organized for you and your players, utilizing cards, utilizing dice, utilizing the pads, the setting book. It's a neat game. Everything you need to play this in a box, and I enjoy that. I really like that aesthetic on top of what it seems to be providing for superheroes and role-playing games. So that is Spectaculars in a nutshell. Yeah. I'm looking forward to this. I hope I get to try this out soon. Maybe Lloyd will run it for me and other people. So, but yeah, I without playing the game, I can't say too much more for it. But my first impression is this. I'm very happy to get this game, and would definitely, if I can't get someone to run it for me, I would definitely run this game locally for friends or family or my son and his buddies and whatnot, and see how it plays out. And maybe I'll do a play report after the fact to see if I actually enjoyed this, and maybe this might be a game changer for me. This might be a superhero role playing game that I'm willing to pursue past in the an initial scenario. So there you are. This has been yet another completely unprofessional unboxing. Thank you for watching, and I do appreciate all the recent subscribers on the channel. And if you're interested in listening to Titterpigs, there is a link in the description. And if you're interested in checking out Spectaculars, I will have a link to the to where you can get a copy of this. I don't know who it's by. I don't remember. It doesn't really say, but the link will be there. And I have seen this at a variety of friendly local game stores too. So if you see it at your friendly local game store, definitely pick it up there if you can. So. I kind of feel like this most people who pick this up will not be disappointed. So there you go. Thank you all for watching, and there'll be more to come soon now that some of the summertime stuff is starting to die down. Again, thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day. As soon as I find where the stop button is. There you go. Take care.